I am happy to welcome you to this information session for our Accelerated Skills Acquisition Program at the Plenipotent Company Network. This edition of the program is a special edition that we have called the Digital Nomad Edition. I am going to tell you how we came about that and what you stand to gain by participating in the program. So I would like to encourage you to please pay rapt attention, take notes, and make up your mind to maximize this opportunity. The world is changing a lot. People are traveling here and there, especially if you're in a country like Nigeria. People want to relocate to countries like the United Kingdom, United States of America, Canada, and various other places. So we're in a period where people are moving around a lot, and remote work is also gaining more and more popularity. So the better you are in terms of your ability to work remotely, the more skillful you are in terms of what you can actually do, the better positioned you are to thrive in this new world that we're in, because opportunities are no longer limited. It is the will and capacity to maximize those opportunities that are limited. Okay, so a lot of people don't have what it takes to seize the opportunities coming their way, and a lot of people are not executing enough. So this program is designed to give you a wide range of skills that will put you in a place where you can do a lot of things instead of just being able to do one thing, and you are also going to be able to work with anyone from anywhere. So if you don't want to travel out, for example, you want to remain in Nigeria or whatever country that you live in, but you want to be able to access opportunities from other countries, then you are going to get the skills that you need to be able to do that. And if you later decide to relocate, then you are going to be much more valuable where you are going. So you are going to be able to do a wide range of things such that you will have opportunity to increase your influence, your impact, and your income. With the way the world is going, technology is replacing a lot of skills. We thought that artificial intelligence was going to replace the kind of jobs that are dangerous, the kind of jobs that require a lot of physical power and all of that. But interestingly, it is even now replacing work that require intellectual power. So if that was your advantage before, then you have to rethink. You have to redesign your life and your work in such a way that technology, whether it is generative AI or any other form of artificial intelligence or any kind of technology at all, is not going to replace you, but will rather enhance your capacity to deliver, and it will help you to leverage your unique abilities in ways that would have been more difficult before. That is what we're trying to achieve with this edition of the Accelerated Skills Acquisition Program. Now, it's normal to ask that, okay, so what specific skills are we going to cover? That's why I started by saying that technology is replacing a lot of skills. So if you are going to be acquiring new skills at all, you want to acquire skills that technology will not be able to easily replace. And two categories of those skills are leadership skills and entrepreneurial skills. Regardless of the kind of work that you do, if you get the right kind of leadership and entrepreneurial skills, or we can put them together and say entrepreneurial leadership skills, there's such a thing as entrepreneurial leadership. So if you have the right blend of entrepreneurial leadership skills, you are going to be a very skillful and difficult to replace professional, whether you are running your own business or whether you are working in a company or a business that is not your own. So it's very important to develop entrepreneurial leadership skills and to also develop an entrepreneurial mindset. So how can you now deploy this entrepreneurial mindset and the entrepreneurial leadership skills that you have acquired in your work? Okay, so this program is going to equip you with the tools to do that. That's why we're also going to cover a number of digital skills. But those digital skills that we're covering, they are a means to an end, not an end in themselves. Take, for example, if you say you're a graphics designer, anybody can create an account on Canva and design graphics for themselves. And Canva even has a lot of AI tools integrated into it now that make things a lot easier. Okay, so if you are a graphic designer, if you are learning graphic design, for example, then there has to be an extra that you are bringing on board that will make you irreplaceable and that will make you able to make much more money than you have been making before, instead of making much less. Because if you don't make those changes, then you are going to be making much less money, because the people that should have patronized you before, they can now do it on their own, or they can look for maybe a secondary school student that is idle, that doesn't have something doing, and introduce him or her to those tools and say, okay, do this for me, and that one will be willing and happy to take like a small fraction of what you would have charged. Do you understand? Now, if you are an illustrator also, for example, I remember there was a project we worked on, a book project, and we needed some illustrations. We had to pay an illustrator for it. In fact, on one occasion, we had paid an illustrator, and the illustrator went away with our money, did not even do the work. But now, there are a lot of AI tools that you just type in the prompt and they generate beautiful illustrations that match what you need, and you can even refine those illustrations. So if you're an illustrator, then your job is not is being taken away. Okay, it is no longer sure, it is no longer certain. If you're a website developer, you build websites, okay, there has to be something else you are bringing on board, because there are even AI tools that build websites. Almost anything and everything you can think about, there is either an AI tool for it, or there is a form of technology that makes it easier, so that anybody that has the time and readiness to do it can actually do it. So what we're going to be doing is that, regardless of what your work is, whether you are a medical doctor, you are an engineer, you are a sales professional, you are a teacher, you are an insurance agent, whatever it is that you are doing, there are skills that you can inject into the work and mindset that you can inject into the work that will help you to create value on a whole new level, in such a way that you are going to be in a class of your own, and you are going to be able to get much more value in return, okay, from the efforts that you are investing into your work. Because of the rate at which the world is changing, we all need to be able to adapt, and we need to be able to move fast. So we need a high degree of adaptability and agility. So if you can only do one thing, you only have one skill, you cannot adapt to situations, you cannot serve in a wide variety of contexts, you are going to be grossly limited. Yes, there is a place for specialization, okay, but there is also a place for being a serial master. You are a master in a lot of things. You are not just a shallow generalist. You are not. It's not like you are just knowing, okay, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that you are a master in a lot of things. Then you can now bring all of those things together in a way that is coherent and cohesive to solve a particular kind of problem for a particular kind of people. You understand? Whether you are doing it as an employee, or as a team member in an organization, or as a business owner, or as an entrepreneur, okay, you are going to be bringing a wide range of skills together, okay, to solve problems for your clients, or for your employers, or for whoever it is that you are serving. And that leads me to the next point, which is very important. In this time that we live in, if you are going to thrive, if you are going to be irreplaceable, if you are going to be the kind of person that technology cannot threaten, then you need to add a new title to your titles, because people like titles, different kinds of titles on LinkedIn, and people will just start something small, and they say they are CEO. Somebody can just start a blog and say, okay, the CEO of the blog, and that's I'm joking, but there is a sense of some bit of seriousness in it. But I'm saying that, okay, instead of CEO, or in addition to whatever title you already have, you should also add CPS. CPS, what's the meaning of CPS? Chief Problem Solver. So if you are the chief problem solver in your organization, or if you see yourself that way, as chief problem solver in your organization, or chief problem solver for your clients, then there is going to be a lot that you can do for them. When they have any issues, when they have any challenges, you are the first person they think about, and that alone opens a lot of opportunities to you. And the skills, the mindset you are going to be learning in this program will prepare you to maximize those opportunities and solve their problems for them. So in specific terms, what are the kind of skills we're going to be covering? We're going to be looking at the right kind of leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills, a blend of digital skills and remote work skills. Now, some of the specifics include teamwork. How do you find the right kind of people to work with? Because there is a limit to what you can do on your own. You need to be able to work with the right kind of people. So how do you build a team? Even if you are working in an organization that is not your own, where you are a junior team member, for example, you still need to learn how to work with people. So that's one of the skills that we're going to cover. We're going to cover communication skills. We're going to cover how to use generative AI to improve your productivity and to also improve your income. Okay, those are some of the things we're going to look at, but I don't want to give you a list of everything right now so that it doesn't sound overwhelming, and also so that we don't remove the element of curiosity, because that's also part of the elements that will enrich the learning experience for you. But I want to assure you, and you are going to see it practically, that this is going to totally change your life. It's going to be a transformational experience that will take you to a whole new level. By the time we're done, it's a 21-day program. At the end of the 21 days, you will see it in clear terms that you have increased your earning potential. If you do everything we're asking you to do, you will even make money in the course of the program. Yes, if you do everything we're asking you to do, and whatever amount you make, no matter how little, you can now begin to scale it and multiply it. Okay, you can do that either with what you're already doing, whatever your job is, whatever your work is, okay, or you can start a new line of business from what you're already doing or from the things you are going to be learning in this program. And this is not a workshop, or it's not a regular workshop, okay, and it's not a talk shop either. It is not a seminar. It's not a seminar where we just give you information and you go figure things out on your own. And it's not a workshop where we give you information and we also do things with you. We show you. Yes, it's beyond that, okay, because we're going to even give you opportunities, but this is not for everyone. It is for those that are engaged, those that are committed, those that are completing the assignments, responding appropriately. We're going to give you opportunities to join our workspace. You will also have opportunity to work on real life projects. Then your home projects that you are working on, whatever business you are working on, or whatever role you have in your place of work, you bring the challenges you are facing. What are the challenges you are facing? What are the goals you want to achieve? We'll work with you and help you in very practical ways to solve those problems. I'm telling you, okay, so it's a very practical experience. And at the end of the whole thing, we're going to start a business together, a real business. We'll start a real business from scratch, okay, so that you can implement all of the things you are learning, because that is the way to really learn. The way to learn is not just by accumulating information, by taking courses, by attending classes, by reading books. All of those things are good and they create the context for learning, but the way you really learn, the way you truly learn, is by taking up challenges. You have a problem you want to solve, you have a situation you want to change, you have a real life project you are working on and you encounter issues, then you go read, you go study, you take courses, you watch videos to solve the particular problem you are facing at that point in time. Then you develop capacity and you grow. That is how to learn. So we're going to start a complete business from scratch together, for those that are interested and are ready to be engaged. So we'll start that together and everybody will be a shareholder in the business. Everybody will, we're adopting the model of David. David said that everybody will share alike. Okay, so everybody that puts in the work will work together to implement these things and to develop capacity, and then we'll start a complete business, okay, from that. And we may start more than one business depending on how many people are working together. We could have, if we have like, let's say 15 people, okay, we could have like 3 businesses with 5 people in each team. Do you understand? But what I'm saying is that we're going to start a real business, okay, that will be registered, that will make money. We're going to create a bank account, we're going to get customers, so that you see that these things that we're saying, they are not difficult, they are possible, they are practical. And the biggest benefit of actually running a business or starting a business is the growth that you experience yourself. A lot of people think it's the money. The money is important. Like I've always said, anybody that acts as if money is not important is either sincerely ignorant or deliberately dishonest. So money is important. Money is not the most important thing. You don't work for money, okay, but you should get money from your work. You understand? And the amount of money you are making is a measure of your effectiveness and your efficiency at your work. So it's as if you went to school and you collected certificates. That certificate is a measure of the work, how you performed, okay, when you were in school. So how much money you are making also is a measure of how well you are performing on your job, or how well you are performing at your work. Job and work are not the same thing. Work is what you do to fulfill your God-given destiny. It is what you do to fulfill the purpose for which God has placed you here on the earth. And then job is what you do to make ends meet, what you do to make money, maybe to fund your life assignment, which is your work, or to take care of your family, or something that others have asked you to do. That is your job. Okay, at the end of the day, the ideal thing is to make your work your job, but that is not possible for most people, especially at the beginning. So it's okay to have a job, something you do to make money, and also to have your work, which is how you fulfill your God-given destiny. But even in your job, you can inject your work into it. You can use your job as a platform, okay, to do the things that give you fulfillment. And why is this important? If you don't do that, if you focus so much on your job and you are not doing your work, okay, at the end of the day, you may make all of the money, all of the wealth, all of the power, but it's going to be like the Bible described, that what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? So if you are just about making money, doing your job, and you are putting all of your energy in that alone, you are not developing yourself, you are not developing capacity to fulfill your God-given assignment, to do the things that God has placed on your heart. At the end of the day, the whole thing will look like vanity upon vanity. You understand? So that's why I wanted to make that distinction between job and work. Okay, but whether your work is your job, or you have a job and then you have a work on the other hand, okay, the things you are going to learn will help you to be more effective and more efficient. So when you become more effective and more efficient, you are going to also make more money, and you are going to have more freedom and flexibility to live a totally fulfilling life. It's important to also mention at this point that we're going to take the approach, we're going to assume that everyone is an entrepreneur. And that's a good assumption, because it is entrepreneurs that solve problems, it is entrepreneurs that create value. Now, if you are an employee, you can also be an entrepreneur even as an employee. Those are the people that are called intrapreneurs. That means you are bringing an entrepreneurial mindset to your work. You are seeing yourself as chief problem solver. You are not complaining about problems. Whatever problem arises, whatever problem you are confronted with, you want to think through, you want to take responsibility for ensuring that it is solved. You are not the kind of person that does the barest minimum. You are the kind of person that goes the extra mile genuinely. If you work like that, even if they call you an employee, you are not just an employee, you are an intrapreneur. You understand? And that is what we're saying in this age and time, with the way the world is changing, with the challenges all over the place. If you are not an entrepreneur and you are not an intrapreneur, your opportunities are going to be limited. You are not going to have the kind of freedom and flexibility that you need. So the skills and the tools and the templates that we're going to be sharing in this program will help you to bridge that gap, so that you become the kind of person that can add value in many practical ways. Because every one of us, every single person, okay, we are like products on the market. Okay, we are like products on the market. So when you look at the workplace, the labor market, each of us is like a product. So how valuable are you as a product, okay, on the labor market, or in the labor market? That is why you find two people in similar roles, and somebody is earning a lot of money with a lot of opportunities, the other person is earning much less, and the person earning much less may even be doing better work, may be doing harder work, may be doing, but that means they have not optimized their work the way they are supposed to optimize it. Because at the end of the day, it is not so much about what you are doing as it is about how you are doing it. Okay, take for example transport business. Now, different people can run their transport business in a lot of ways, and transport business has been existing from time immemorial. Then Uber came and disrupted the whole thing. Now, they did not have cars of their own, but they created a system where, okay, people could bring their cars and offer transport services, and it just changed the game. Look at how they added value in a lot of ways, creating jobs for people, solving a lot of problems in the process. That is what entrepreneurs do. Okay, you create value literally from scratch. Okay, you use existing material and then you combine them together in a different way to create something new. So it's still the same transport business, but it's now done in a lot of ways. Now others have copied their model. We have Bolt, we have lots of them now. We have InDrive, we have a lot of ride sharing platforms now. As recently as yesterday, my family and I, we still took a boat ride. As recently as a few hours ago, earlier today, okay, I still ordered a boat ride, for someone. Now, like, it has become a normal part of our lives now, but it came from somebody's idea. So in the same way, there are ideas that you can inject into what you're already doing or into what other people are already doing that can make it better, that can make it faster, that can make it more profitable, more productive, and at the end of the day, increase your own earning potentials. I remember in one of the companies I worked with before we started the Plenipotent company, the Ready Writers Consult. From the name, you already know what the company does: writing, content development, and I learned a lot, in the company. It's one of the companies where, I had the opportunity to grow as an entrepreneur. And that's what we're saying about having an entrepreneurial mindset, even when you are an employee. Now, in that organization, what we do is writing. But I introduced website development. I learned website development on my own, introduced it into the company, then I started managing all of the company's websites. So whatever money should have been paid to a webmaster, and all of that, we cut it off. Okay, I was doing the job in addition to what I was doing already. Okay, then we started offering website development as a service to organizations, and a lot of things sprung up from there. One of my colleagues introduced digital publishing on Amazon, and a number of other things like that. Do you get it? So that is what we mean when we are talking about injecting new things into the work you are already doing. And regardless of what you are doing, whether you are a lawyer, you are an automobile engineer, you are a fashion designer, you are an insurance agent, you are a medical doctor, whatever it is you are doing, you are a teacher, there are ways you can inject new ideas and use technology to bring those ideas to life. So what kind of technology skills, what kind of technology tools can you use to bring your ideas to life? What kind of technology tools can you use to connect with people from all over the world? Okay, such that you always have the people you need to work with. Okay, those are the kind of things we're going to be covering, okay, in this program. Okay, and the fifth thing that I want you to know about the program is that it is not just a training program, it's a transformational experience. You will have opportunity to join our workspace, get answers to your questions, solve whatever problems you are facing at your work or in your business, and we will also start a new business together from scratch, and it is going to be profitable. Now, the business we're going to start will be such that it can make you at least $1,000 every month. Now, that's not going to happen at the beginning, but as we start, you will see the framework, you will see the model, and you will see that it is very achievable. Now, $1,000 is not a lot of money, but it's something, as extra income. And once you make it, then you can now scale it. You can create systems, that will multiply it. Now, I'll show you an example of that. Okay, practically, I'll show you an example of that, before we conclude this session. But at this point, let us take our plenipotent creed, then we continue with the rest of the session. Now, the plenipotent creed is we're not just saying it. We are actively and deliberately integrating spiritual power into our work, okay? Because words are powerful. So as you make these declarations, these confessions, the plenipotent creed, our closing prayer, all of these words that we're speaking, you are literally releasing spiritual power, and you are also programming your mind to respond in certain ways. So when certain kinds of opportunities come to you, when you are faced with certain kinds of decisions, those words that you have been saying will come back to you, and those words would have created some neural pathways in your brain that will make you to think in a certain way, so that you can maximize those opportunities and you are not going to take the wrong decisions. Do you understand? So it's not magic. This is how it works, just a bit of how it works. But the more you practice these things, the more you see the results, okay, in your own life, and you won't need anybody to convince you, okay, of the power. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the plenipotent creed. I am an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven on earth. The God kind of life is at work in me. By virtue of this supernatural advantage, I have overcome the limitations of my environment and risen to my full potential. The Almighty God has given me wisdom and power to build up vast assets that have continued to generate an abundance of wealth, bringing me to places of influence and affluence. My wealth and riches have continued to increase and multiply exceedingly, so much that accounting for them is like counting the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. I have found my place in God's eternal plan for humanity and realized His purpose for my life. I am now a blessing to everyone in my spheres of influence, for as He is, so am I in this world. Okay, so let's continue with our discussion now. We'll go to the second part of the discussion. So, all of the things that we have mentioned before, what are the implications, and what are we going to do, in specific terms or in practical terms um, to put us in a better position, to put us in a place of advantage. Okay, I'll give you a model so that you can look at the model and see how we are applying it, or how you can adopt that same model in your own work. And that is the model of Apostle Paul in the Bible. If you don't know Apostle Paul, you can just Google Apostle Paul in the Bible and read about him. Now, the way Apostle Paul was a learned guy, he was very sound in a lot of things. He was a learned guy. Go and read about him, read his pedigree and all of that. And he had a good job that he was doing. Okay, but then he got to a point in his life where he was arrested, quote unquote. He was, Jesus Christ met with him, and then he received a higher calling. He knew that, oh, this is the kind of thing that I should really be doing with my life. So his own calling was to be a preacher. Now, in the same way that he had a calling to be a preacher, each of us has different callings. Some people have a calling to raise children. It is a calling to raise children in the way of the Lord. It's a calling. Now, you may have, a calling to maybe start a school, start, a hospital. People have different kinds of, those can be some expressions of your calling, but you are called to a certain group of people. You are called to do certain kinds of things. Now, many people have a struggle like, okay, this is what I'm called to do, but I need money to do this thing, or at least I need money to fund my own life, so that, okay, at least I need to pay rent, I need to eat, I need to do basic things, I need to take care of my children, take care of my parents. Okay, so if I follow my calling, am I going to be, this calling is not likely to generate money. Now, people have, these are real issues. Now, for someone like Paul, what Paul did was that he said, you know what, this calling is my primary thing, I'm going to face it, but then I'm also going to have something I am doing to generate income, so that I'm not going to rely on anybody for anything. I'm not going to rely on the church or anybody else. So that is what we're also trying to do. Now, deep in your heart, there are things you want to do, the aspirations you have. Okay, we want you to be able to focus on those aspirations, because you have some other things you are doing, okay, that are making money for you. You understand? Paul said that, you can read the story. I don't want to be quoting so many Bible verses in this session, but you can Google, okay, Apostle Paul, how did he fund his ministry? How did he do his work? You will see all those scriptures where he said that these hands of mine have provided for me and for the people working with me. He said, okay, you remember how we taught you that everybody should work, okay, and he that does not work should not eat, okay, so that, he said everybody should work so that you may have to give, and he said a lot of things like that. So that is the model. That's, have that at the back of your mind, that there's something, or there are things that you want to do, okay, in your life, that, okay, those things may not necessarily make you money. You just want to make impact. You want to, solve problems for people and all of that, improve your community. Those things may not necessarily make you money, and they are noble ideas, but the fact that they are noble ideas, the fact that they are things that will help people, does not mean that you are not going to spend money. You understand? So you need to have something you are doing, okay, that can make you money. And that is what brought us to the concept of digital nomad. That's why this is the digital nomad edition of the Accelerated Skills Acquisition Program. Apostle Paul was called a tent maker. Now, what was called a tent maker in those days is like what you would call a digital nomad today. Now, tent maker does not literally mean that somebody is making tents. When you say somebody is a tent maker, it doesn't mean he's literally making tents. The Bible the Bible speaks of those who, because they were looking for a city built by God, they did not have a permanent habitation. They were living in tents, okay, so that they can easily move and pack. They could easily move and pack whenever the need arises. You understand? And that's the kind of life we should live. Of course, I'm not saying that you should be going up and down, no, but I'm saying that you should be able to live anywhere and do everything that God has called you to do. If you need to move, it should not be an issue. It should not be that if you move, then there's no job for you where you are moving to. Do you understand? You need to have a repertoire of skills. Like Apostle Paul, he had a repertoire of skills that wherever he got to, there was something he could do to make money. Now, it's not literal tent maker. Imagine, okay, if somebody was a tent maker, especially in those days, all of the tools he would need to make tents, all of the canopy materials, or canvas and all of those things. Now, how would he be carrying all of those things everywhere that he was going? You understand? So in the same way, when you have the right kind of skills, you don't need to carry a lot of things. With your phone and your laptop and internet connection, you can do a lot of things and make millions. It's literally millions, whether millions of naira or millions of dollars. Okay, literally. Okay, and it starts by something small. They say that little drops of water make the ocean. Okay, so it starts by something small. So once you start making small money and you start putting the right systems and structures in place, you can scale that, you can multiply it. Okay, and then a lot more can come from it. Now, let me show you an example of what I'm talking about, so that at least we can put some practical demonstration to it. Now, all of the sessions are going to be practical. This is an information session giving you an overview of what we're going to cover. All of the sessions, each session we have something for you to do, to implement. Okay, so prepare your mind for that. Now, let me just show you an example of what I am talking about before we proceed. I want to share my screen. Okay, look at this now, credit transaction notification. Now, this is not a lot of money, but this is like almost $100. Okay, now imagine that, and this was 5 days before this presentation. Now, imagine if you have a system that makes you, even if it's just $100 every day, it will go a long way to do something. But you can now optimize. Once you can make your first $100, you can optimize the system. You can do things, you can improve it, you can set up systems and structures such that on autopilot, without you doing much or without you even doing anything at all, you can make like maybe say $500 every day. Now, if you make $500 every day and you make that, even if it's not every day, if you make $500 20 days in a month, that is 500 times 20, that is $10,000. Now, if you have something that you are doing that makes you $10,000 every month, you are not going to be so desperate for a certain kind of job. You are not going to, do you understand what I mean? So because you have money to take care of your basic needs and all of that, so you can focus, okay, on the important things that you truly want to do. You understand? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to show you during the program, okay, how did this money come about? What did I do to make it? What can you also do, to make? That's why I said even before we finish the program, you can start making money if you do the things we ask you to do. Now, I am not making this money every day before people start, I don't make it every day, but I'm just telling you that it's possible. Now, I've tested it, and I have a lot of things that I've tested like that. I've tested this, I've seen how it works. I'm just saying that there are a lot of ways to improve what you're already doing and generate money, so that you have enough to take care of your needs and the things you need to do, so that you can focus on the things that are most important to you. And once you make something, then you can now scale it. Your real work is going to change from time to time as you grow, as you develop, as you enter into new phases of life. Okay, so that's why what we're saying about adaptability, agility, flexibility, freedom, all of these things are not just words. They are practical, like the practical situation, the practical context that your life should look like. Now, for me now, one of the major things I should be doing at this point in time is helping people grow, helping people develop, helping people build capacity, which is why I'm having programs like this, and why the company is also doing stuff like this. Then I also know that I should be building businesses. Okay, I should be building businesses. Now, those things that I just mentioned, they are a lot of work, and they will not make money immediately. But I have other things that are making money, so that I can focus on these things that I'm doing, which are important. For example, this program is entirely free of charge. Just saying that you also need to be in that kind of position where you can do the things you want to do, whether you are getting money from it or you are not getting money from it, because you have other things you are doing that are making the money for you. So I've given you an overview of what we're going to be doing, okay, in this program, and I want you to prepare your mind to participate fully and participate actively, so that you can get the best of the entire experience. Also, make up your mind to participate in the capstone project. The capstone project is the project I talked about, that we're going to build a business from scratch. okay, and that is going to give you powerful experience. Okay, now some people may look at, oh, 21 days is too small. 21 days is not too small. We can do a lot in 21 days if we commit to it, especially now that we're going to be doing it together. You are not doing it alone. Okay, a number of us are coming together to do this. We can achieve a whole lot. What people may not be able to achieve in 21 years, and I'm not exaggerating, what people may not be able to achieve in 21 years, we can achieve it in 21 days. And the Bible says that, can a nation be born in a day? A nation can be born in a day. Like lives can literally change in the twinkle of an eye. You understand? So 21 days is a lot of time if we invest, it as appropriate. In case you have people that can benefit from this, invite them to join us, because once we start, we're not going to admit new people. They will have to wait for another cohort, and at the end of the day, they may actually now have to pay. But anybody that joins now before we start, you are going to get free access as long as you participate actively. And remember that the live sessions are going to be available for 24 hours. So make up your mind, to watch, if you don't attend the live session. And even if you attend the live session, watch it over again within 24 hours. Take notes, complete your learning journal, implement the things you need to implement to solidify the learning experience, teach others, and all of that. Because after 24 hours, the video will no longer be available. So I'm going to pause here for now and begin to conclude. But before then, it is important that you complete the pre-training survey. Go to linkapp.click/PT survey. Linkapp.click/PT survey. You write it together, linkapp.click/PT survey, and complete the pre-training survey or the pre-training questionnaire. It will give us information to help us further customize the delivery, okay, in such a way as to create the most value for you. What are the specific challenges you are facing? Why exactly did you decide to participate in this program? Okay, once you provide all of those information, we're going to be able to address your own specific issues. We have 21 days to do that, okay, and we can actually address everyone's issues, everyone's needs. You understand? Okay, so it is important that you complete that pre-training survey, and that is the beginning of the engagement we're talking about. Whether you are going to be invited to join our workspace, whether you are going to be presented with other opportunities, whether you are going to be able to participate in the experience of starting a new and profitable business from scratch, whether you are going to have opportunities to make money online through us, all of those things will be determined by your level of engagement and commitment to the program. And the starting point is, yes, you participate in this introductory session or the information session, and then you complete the training survey by going to linkapp.click/PT survey. Then if you look in the chat, if you are joining us live, if you look in the chat, you'll find other resources. And for those that are watching the recording, you can also look in the description and take advantage of the resources that we have there. Now, the quotes to think about for this session, the first one is from me, Philip Amiola. Listen attentively. I'll read the quotes slowly, so just think about them, okay? Now, the first quote is this: there has never been a shortage of opportunities for growth, but there is always a shortage of people who are ready to maximize those opportunities. The harvest is always plenty. It is the laborers that are few. Think about that. Think about that. You need to be ready to implement. You need to be ready to execute. There are lots of opportunities, but those opportunities are only for people that are ready to execute, those that are ready to take to take responsibility, okay, for maximizing those opportunities. Are you going to be one of those people, or one of those that just let opportunities go to waste? Now, the second quote is from John Means. He says, the key to building a profitable business in any economy is running a business that has both adaptability and predictability built in. You want your business to be adaptable, you want your income flow to be predictable, and the kind of business we're going to build together is this kind of business where you know that, okay, if I do this and do this, I can make this amount of money, every month or every week or every quarter or every year, okay? And you are also going to be able to change things, okay, when you need to. Maybe you make changes in response to the market conditions, in response to the demands of your clients, and all of that, okay? So think about these two quotes and keep them in mind as we go through the program. If you have questions, you can post on our discussion platform for those that are already on the discussion platform, or you can go to digitalvineyard.uk/ask. please, we do not encourage sending questions directly via DM. Okay, like maybe you are sending to me or sending to the client success team or sending to anybody via DM. Post on the discussion platform or send it via the contact form. You can only send via the digital via.uk/ask. Send via that if you are not on the discussion platform. But if you're on the discussion platform, post on the discussion platform. That helps to enrich the learning experience for everyone, and it also helps us to maintain our values. Some of our values include transparency and accountability, and those two things really enhance any learning experience, especially when it is a group learning experience. So post your questions on the discussion platform, and if you are not on the discussion platform, then you can use digitalvanguard.uk/ask to post your questions. And more importantly, remember to complete the pre-training survey by going to linkup.click/pt survey. Okay, so let's take our closing prayer. Closing prayer is in three parts. Okay, so we take the three parts one after the other. After each part, we pause for a few seconds and think on the words that we're saying. We think on those words, and even as you're saying those words, start visualizing it. What will your life look like when these things have happened? What will your business and your career look like? What will your cash flow look like? And if there are some things that your mind is finding difficult to accept, for example, there's a place where we talk about trillions of dollars. If your mind is finding it difficult to accept trillions of dollars, if it is billions of naira that you can start with, you can change it to what you are willing to accept. But the point is that you should actually raise the bar, and the more you say this, the more your mind will start accepting and believing it, and you now become it. People say that fake it till you make it. No, that's not what we're doing. We're not faking it till we make it. We're believing it till we become it. So when you keep saying something, you start to believe it, then you start to become it. You understand? And you also release a lot of spiritual power. You put angels to work on your behalf. You condition situations and circumstances. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So let's take the closing prayer. Is in three parts. Okay, like I said. So let's start with the first part, which is a prayer for the reign of heaven upon our work. I ask, my Father, for the rain of your blessing upon the work from which I have deployed my skills and resources in service to people as an act of worship to you. I ask for the knowledge of your thoughts and your ways in that which I have set my hands upon. Open the heavens and grant me insights, concepts, and ideas, that a clear distinction be placed upon my work through the uniqueness of my products and in the services I render. In addition to this, Father, I ask for the rain of your favor upon every work I have ever rendered. I ask that this rain of favor will cause the voice of my work to be heard on the streets and in palaces, that men and kings will be drawn unto me, and by these my work generates great surplus. I ask that kings will hear of the excellent spirit your reign has produced in me, and they will open great doors and grant opportunities unto me. Now think upon that. Think about the things you have said. Okay, we've said that the voice of our work will be heard on the streets and in palaces. Men and kings will be drawn unto us. Now, men, you could consider men as the people that will work with you to implement the ideas that you have, your team members, your partners, and then you could consider kings as the clients, the people in authority, the employers, those that will open doors for you that you cannot open for yourself. Just think upon this. The meaning will vary in each person's context. Okay, so just think upon it, for a few seconds before we take the second part. And you should actually be doing this on your own. Okay, several times a day. On your own, it helps. Okay, so let's take the second part. Beholding the present state of the work of my hands, I declare that it is productive, satisfying, and has generated a surplus for me, running into trillions of dollars. The Spirit of God permeated the work of my hands as the dew from heaven, producing this abundance that I see. Now I need neither aid nor support from anyone to fulfill my financial aspirations. It feels deeply liberating to both be financially free and productive at my work. This experience became mine because the Father opened the heavens over my work, and I responded with thanksgiving. In praise, I entered into the joy of the reality of this present state before it ever materialized. Also, you, the Spirit of God in me, opened my eyes and ears to see the opportunities Jesus constantly brought my way, and I, in turn, immediately obeyed every instruction you impressed on my thought life. Think upon that again. Okay, now let's take the third and final part. This is the longest part of the prayer, but it's something that you will find very helpful. Think about it, meditate on it, okay, as we declare the words. Father, as I come before the throne of grace, let me receive mercy and find grace to neutralize every deficiency and inadequacy in my business and career. By your mercy, I consistently enjoy abundant supply to meet every need, and you directly reward me for my labor. Thank you, Lord, for giving me eyes that see great opportunities and ears that hear the next big thing. By the power of your Spirit, I do all of my work with diligence and excellence, causing me to overflow in the abundance of God's provision hidden on the earth. The Holy Spirit works with me as my senior partner. My career and business have become an expression of my covenant with God, ratified by the blood of Jesus and guided by the Holy Spirit. God has opened his hand of provision unto me, and the work of my hands now serves as his point of contact with me. My business is the channel through which I receive from the abundance of God's love. As my Father, I constantly receive the rain of heaven upon the work of my hands. I have a flood tide of God's thoughts, concepts, and ideas, making my work much easier and more productive. In any area where I have missed the mark, conducted my affairs in a way that is not consistent with your wisdom, or acted in ignorance, the Lord shows me and instructs me in the good way, so that his supply will never cease from my life. The Lord guides me into the labors of others. I find the ideas that I've already worked on the earth as regards what I am doing today. I received the impartation of the Holy Spirit, granting me wisdom, knowledge, and skill in my field. By these, I shall always be the head and not the tail. My expertise draws attention from higher authorities, leading to true and permanent elevation. I have continued to experience exponential increase in influence and affluence. As it was with Solomon, news of my exploits has gone to the ends of the earth, and the kings of the earth come to learn from my wisdom. God has sent teachers to me. People who know much more than me have come into my life this season, giving me practical knowledge on how to scale and multiply using the same assets I have at the moment. Just as Jethro supplied Moses with wisdom and strategy to simplify his huge assignment, God has opened my understanding to strategic insights, wisdom, and ideas to help me fulfill every facet of my calling without stress. God has brought teachers into my life who showed me how to achieve peak performance in all areas of my life and work without dropping the ball even once. God has sent me skillful associates like Bezalel and Oholiab who are capable of executing their work flawlessly, thereby relieving me of unnecessary burdens. I have faithful allies like Hiram, committed burden bearers like Ruth, mentors like Jesus, mentees like Timothy, and successors like the apostles of Jesus. These relationships have expanded the scope of my work, resulting in global and generational influence and impact. I am blessed with helpers who will be bridges between me and the next place God is taking me to. By these relationships, the things that I see as out of my reach have become the next logical thing. I am continually moving to new and higher levels of success in fulfilling God's plan for my life. Men and angels rise to advance my cause, just as the sun stood still for Joshua and the Red Sea parted for Israel, while swallowing Pharaoh and his host. All factors, forces of creation, government policies, human wickedness, and every other factor work to advance God's plan for my life while putting the enemy to shame. I have more than enough capacity and wisdom to sufficiently discharge all my responsibilities in my family and relationships, business and career, health, ministry, finances, and all areas of life. My counsel is highly sought for and greatly desired. by people in authority, by the Spirit of God. I have brought unusual solutions to their problems, and they have given me the right hand of fellowship. I have received grace to respond to the instructions of the Spirit. My labors are not found in the house of a stranger. Thank you once again for your interest in the Accelerated Skills Acquisition Program and also for joining this session. Remember to complete the pre-training survey. The link is linkup.click/PT survey. So I look forward to seeing you in subsequent sessions and connecting with you further. Thank you once again and bye for now.